So this is a hard question, and it's partly because of that sentence, but we'll worry about that later. First, we need to figure out how to interpret this piece of information. So I'll say if the fixed mark price is P, and let's say the discount was D percentage in this first scenario. So that means that the price would be 1 minus D over 100 because that's the discounted amount. And then this has to equal to the cost times 1.2 because that corresponds to that 20% profit. If you want to think of it in equivalent form is if you subtract the cost, that's your profit, and that would be 20% of the cost, which is, these two are really equivalent. So make sure you understand the difference and that they are one and the same thing. So that's our first relationship. The second is if we double the discount, so 2D over 100, then, and if I subtract the, well, actually they tell us the profit is 110, which means that it's cost plus profit. That's my second equation. So I have these two equations. I can figure out both D and P. And what I'll actually do, I'm interested in P. And I'll use the calculator here, 1650 times 1.2, which is 1980. And this is P minus 2PD over 100 is 1760. So I'm going to try to get rid of this piece here, so I'll double that. 2P minus 2PD. I mean, you can certainly solve for both the variables, but our interest is in P. And then I subtract these two. So I get P equal to, because that term will drop out, 2 times 1980 minus 1760. And here I'm going to use a calculator. And I get 2200. So I know what the mark price is. Now this part has to do with how do we set a rate of discount, meaning let's call that X. I want to distinguish it from that D there. So this would be the discounted price at which the profit percentage would be equal to the rate of discount, meaning if I subtract the cost, which is 1650, that must equal to the profit percentage. So that same variable, the discount, is identical to the profit percentage. So that's our relationship. This is what will give us X. So I'm just going to move that to the other side, and that would become 1650, 1 plus X over 100. And on this side, it's 2200, 1 minus X over 100. So I'll simplify those two first. Divisible by 11, 15, 20, and then 4 and 3. So this becomes 4 minus 4x over 100, 3 plus 3x over 100. Then I subtract that, move this over. I get 7x over 100, which means x is 100 over 7, which would be around 14, because 14 times 7 is 98. So the answer is C. So yeah, it is a hard question. Now, I'm not sure if I would be able to do this in the exam in 2 or 3 minutes. Perhaps I would be spending too much time figuring that out. So, but that's what makes this particular question difficult. But make sure you can formulate these relationships because that would be helpful in other questions too, because these are kind of standard setup. But yeah, this is a hard question. The answer is C.